Uh, I mean, at the end of the day, we were 4 down for not much, and who knows, it could have been Devon one of those wickets too. So you can't really say one thing or another, but obviously he's an integral part of our batting lineup, and he always gives a lot of confidence to the guys that are behind him. And yeah, it was a big loss, but at the end of the day, wickets fell regardless, and it just is what it is.
What was it like batting out there, and how late did you have in the innings? Did you still have belief you could maybe pull something off?
I actually found it very enjoyable to bat out there. It was not an easy pitch to start on. It definitely took about 10 or 12 balls to start figuring it out and trying to get a little more leg side of it to play with the bounce. But at the end of the day, we know there's bounce here. The lines the Australian boys bowled was incredibly tough to get away. And obviously the way a lot of us got out today playing square shots, you're used to seeing a ball on a certain length, you play the shot, you don't necessarily go, oh, I'm looking for that ball. And here it can definitely catch you out when it bounces a little bit more. But as I said, the longer I was in, the easier it became and the more fluent it became. So I think probably I'd say still from the 9, 10, 11 over mark before we lost 3 quick ones after the drinks, I still felt at Eden Park when it's small, you can have an over that goes for 15 or 20 and then you're right back in it super fast.
It seemed like at one point you had an issue with the commentary in your ears. Can you just talk us through what happened there?
Well, actually, I didn't have an issue at all. Normally, when you talk, when you're on the fielding side of things, you can hear the comms going through, and it doesn't really matter when you're walking in with the bowler. But obviously, when you're batting, I thought it was going to be similar, but I wasn't aware that they could turn it on and off. So my first thing, I just wanted to preempt that, if I could hear them, can they just not talk while the ball's bowled and then they're happy to talk afterwards. But I had actually no issue personally. I really enjoyed having them in my ear and being able to communicate and give insight to people watching at home. So, obviously some people may think there were distractions in there, but as the ball was being bowled, I couldn't hear anything. So the mechanism or the earpieces worked as they should.
I'm in a position where I haven't actually listened to it myself, but I've been told by people who watched it looked like quite a distraction, or perhaps it was distracting you, but you're comfortable saying it wasn't a problem?
No, it definitely wasn't a problem. At the end of the day, I started actually scoring runs when they started talking to me, so maybe I need to actually have them in my ear more often. And at the end of the day, it's an entertainment piece, and as a player, I feel like I always have the option to say no, and if I don't want to do a certain thing like using the mic when I'm batting, but for me it was perfectly fine. Other guys always have the right to say no, and I think today was actually a lot of fun and a great piece of entertainment, but I didn't have any comm issues myself, or any distraction issues for that matter.
Were you happy to keep Australia at 174? Is that like an under par score? Or?
Yeah, exceptionally happy. I mean, looking back on it, the way Travis batted and the way Mitch got them off to an absolute flyer, he's almost set out perfectly for that kind of wicket where he's looking for top of the stumps, extra bounce, swinging square on it, almost preempting the height that it's going to be and just being able to meet the ball incredibly well. So, which is absolutely a strength of his. But when it comes to an overall innings total, you think they should have got more because of the start they had. But I think on that pitch, usually 170, 180, 190 is usually pretty par. And you have to bat really well to still get that 200, 210, 220 sort of mark. And it requires someone going big and little contributions throughout. So the way I saw the pitch playing out while I was out there in the middle, I definitely thought 170 was probably about par, maybe just under. So the boys bowled really well to bring them back after the start they had. But as you can imagine, if we had got Travis early or taken, obviously no one intends to drop catches, but things go down, and obviously the game looks different from different perspectives. And you send a guy back facing 2 balls with no runs, and then the whole scoreboard looks different. And there's a 40-run stint from Travis and a 30-odd run stint from Mitch, and then you take that out, and now you're looking at 100. So it's hard to say whether 170 was par or under par, considering how the whole game played out. Obviously, Aussie bowled really well, and the way Lockie bowled was incredibly strong. They took their opportunities against Mitch, but the way our pace bowlers kept coming back to be able to keep them to 170 after the start they got was very pleasing.
You talked to Devon?
I don't know any details exactly. All I know is it was pretty swollen, and it just wasn't worth going out there at that point in time. But yeah, I don't know anything from a specifics perspective. It's just a little bit gutting for him that he wasn't able to go out there and enjoy the size crowd.
I was going to say, we saw him with the pads on at the end. Was there like an equation that he would have gone out there for like 20 needed or something, or was that just a bit of a ruse?
No, Devon's a real team player, and I think for him it's all about pride and being able to show that he's willing to fight out there for the team. And it's just in his nature to put the team first. And if we were in a situation where, I don't know, we needed 30 or 4 overs and we were 9 down, he would 100% have gone out there and would have put bat on ball. I don't know what he would have been able to do. He potentially would have just scooped his way to 30 off nothing. So he's an incredible player and always finds a way. But that's the kind of team mentality that we have in our side at the moment, is the idea that giving to a cause that's bigger than ourselves, and he epitomizes that. Obviously, we don't want to send a guy out there and face a couple of bouncing balls when he's already been hit on the thumb, but he was prepared to do so, which is really cool.
Last couple, guys.
How impressive was Ben CS Knight, Young Kid, against a pretty strong, powerful Australian batting lineup? He certainly seemed to enjoy the wickets he took. Just how exciting a prospect is he?
Yeah, he's incredibly talented. He's got a lot of pace, he's got a lot of bounce, and a lot of fire as well. So the intensity that he brings when he bowls just hypes everything up a lot, and it's fantastic to have such young talent, especially in the fast bowler department, coming through, and especially out here for him to be able to showcase that bounce, that pace that he's got, and to be able to work with guys like Lockie and Milne, who obviously have been express pace for a long time now. So he's got great people to learn off, and he's got a long career ahead of him as well. So he's incredibly fit, incredibly strong, and I think as long as he keeps doing what he needs to be doing to stay on the park, he'll be a real asset for us as time goes on.
Glenn, it doesn't take much to amp you up in the field, but when you see 3 guys getting it for 140 plus, does that, it's a pretty rare sight in New Zealand to have 3 of those guys together. Is that pretty exciting out there?
Yeah, absolutely. We face teams like Pakistan, Aussie, England, who always have guys that are all over 140, 145, depending on the team lineup that they play. And to be able to put our own team out there with 3 guys that are bowling express pace is really cool. And it's something for us to know that we've got that depth and the talent coming through, that it's not just one person being able to do it. And over the country, we've got a couple of guys like Will O'Rourke as well, who comes through, bowls early 140s as well. So between him, Will O'Rourke, Lockie and Milne, we've got plenty of pace to go around. And it's also about the skill set to be able to bowl slower balls, bumpers, yorkers, and Sears, he's definitely got that whole package.